Hello students. So now let's review on how to divide fractions and mixed numbers. Before we talk about dividing fractions by a fraction and dividing fractions by a whole number. Now we're going to talk about dividing mixed numbers. So to divide a mixed number, the first thing you need to do is change the mixed number into an improper fraction. So I have here 2 3/4. So it means that how many fourths are there in 2 wholes? So that's going to be 8/4 in 2 wholes, and add another 3 to make it 11/4. So just multiply the denominator to the whole number, and then whatever your answer is, add that to the numerator, and that's how you get it. We'll practice more eventually. So again, we multiply 4 times 2, and that gives you 8. Whatever your answer is, add that to the numerator, and that gives you 11. So this is saying 11/4 divided by 2/5. So they're the same, they're equivalent. Okay, so after you've done this, follow the steps as with what we discussed before, that we need to multiply by its reciprocal. That means we change and we flip. So we keep the first number, and then we change the division to a multiplication sign, and then we flip the second number or the divisor. All right, so keep, change, flip, and that would work. So, and then whatever your answer is, you change that back to a mixed number, or depending on what the question is asking, if it's an improper fraction, you do the same. So let's practice. So divide, write the answer in simplest form. Please watch my video on dividing fractions to know what this means. Again, so the first thing we do is change to an improper fraction. So when we change it, we multiply at the bottom, we add at the top. Whatever the answer is, add at the top. So let me zoom in. Okay. So 2 times 3 is 6. 6 plus 1, that should give me 7. And we keep the denominator the same. That means 3 1/2 means, or equal to, 7/2. Divided by, so 3 times 2 is 6. 6 plus 1 gives me 7/3. Next, we do multiplying by its reciprocal, or we keep, change, flip. So 7/2 times 3/7. Okay? Now, you can multiply straight across again. So 7 times 3 is 21. And then you got 2 times 7 is 14. Now, what number can you divide to 21 and 14 evenly? And that should be 7, because you know 7 times what gives you 21? 3. And 7 times what gives you 14? And that's going to be 2. So the answer to this problem would be what? 3/2. Now, if you do the cross canceling, it's easier. So 7/2 times 3/7. Okay, so what number, so cross-canceling is find the common factor of the numerator and its opposite denominator. So what number can you divide to 7 and 7? And we know it is 7. So 7 divided by 7 is 1. 7 divided by 7 is 1. So can we cross-cancel or cross-simplify 2 and 3? No, there's no common factor. So we leave it as is. 3 is just 3 times 1. 2 is just 2 times 1. So 1 is the common factor. And if we divide by 1, it will just give you the same number. So no need to do anything. Now we do 1 times 3 is 3. 2 times 1 is 2. Now if you want to change this into an improper fraction, you do long division. Or you can just think. How many? So there's 3 halves. So how many halves? This is more than 1. So it's going to be, there's 1 and 1/2. So 2 can go into 3 one time, and 1 left. So that's going to be 1 and 1/2. Again, the same thing. So 1 and 1/2. Now let's do number 2. We got 8 and 1/2 divided by 2 and 1/4. Again, change to a mixed number, to improper fraction. We multiply, then we add. 2 times 8 is 16. 16 plus 1, and that should give you 17 over 2 divided by 2 times 4 is 8 plus 1, 9 over 4. Now we keep change, flip. So that should give us 17 over 2 times 4 over 9. 17 over 2 times 4 over 9. So let's check this out. What number can you cross cancel from 4 and 2? What number can you divide evenly to 4 and 2? And we know it is 2. Because 2 times 1, and this is 2 times 2, so 2 is a common factor. So 2 divided by 2, that gives us 1. 4 divided by 2, that gives us 2. Now, is there a common factor of 17 and 9? We know 9 is 3 times 3, and 17 is a prime number, which is 17 times 1. So there's no common factor except for 1. Now we can multiply straight across. So 7 times 2, that gives you 34. 1 times 9, that gives you 9. And that is your answer. Now, how many 9s are there in 34? How many 9s can fit in 34? And that should give us, there's 3 9s, because 9 times 3 gives you 27. And how many more do we need to get to 34? And that means 7 more. So the answer is also 3 and 7 ninths. Now, if you want to do the old way, you can multiply straight across, but those will be like larger numbers, larger values. So cross-canceling will be easier. Now let's try to move on to another example. What if it's a fraction and a whole number? So what do we do? So again, it will be the same thing. Times and add. You can pause this video so you can try this on your own, and then once you're ready, then play it again. So 1/4, that stays the same, divided by 6 times 4 is 24 plus 3, that should give you 27 over 4. Again, we keep change flip. That should give us 1/4. We multiply by its reciprocal. Now, if you notice, I'm going back and forth with keep change flip and multiplying by its reciprocal, so you would know why keep change flip works, okay? So now, if we cross cancel this, cross simplify, it will be much easier. Because if you multiply straight across, you can multiply straight across. Look what will happen. 1 times 4 is 4. 4 times 27. Now you need to do your multi-digit multiplication skill, and you'll get 108. Now think about what is the common factor of 4 and 108. That means, you know what? I can divide this by 2. You can divide this by 2. And that would give you 4 divided by 2 is 2. Now what is 108 divided by 2? And that gives you 54. Now can you still simplify this? And you're going to say, yep, divide by 2. And that gives you 1 over 27. It's a long process. Now what if we just do cross-canceling or cross-simplifying? Now look what happens. What number can you simplify 4 and 4? Of course it's 4. It's the same number, so we can divide it by 4. So 4 is the common factor. 4 divided by 4 is 1. 4 divided by 4 is 1. 1 times 1 gives you 1. 1 times 27 is 27. And you are done. Make things easier. Okay, so cross-canceling. Please look that up. I mean, we've discussed that in class before. Hopefully you remembered. Now, numbers 4, it's a whole number. Again, it's over 1. A whole number has a denominator of 1 since it's an improper fraction. So you multiply. So it's going to be 5 times 7. That gives us 35 plus 4. That will give us 39 over 5 divided by 4 over 1. Again, keep change opposite. So that should give you 39 over 5 times 1 over 4. All right. Now, try this out. Pause your video and make sure that you solve this. At the end of the video, I'm going to go back to this. I need to go through these two examples, okay? Now, number 5. How do we do this if we have these numbers? Always remember, we need to follow the order of operations. So we divide first before we even subtract. So let's divide this 2 first. Okay. Now if we divide that 2, these two numbers, we need to make sure that we change this into an improper fraction. So change that into improper fraction. 5 times 4 is 20, plus 3 is 23 over 5 divided by 10 times 1 is 10, plus 3 is 13 over 10. Now, keep that there first, okay? Let's do these two things first. So now we're going to do 23 over 5 times 10 over 13. Remember, we keep change opposite. If we cross simplify, make things easier, and apply that skill, is there a common factor that we can divide 23 and 13 evenly? No, we don't have any. 23 is like 23 times 1, 13 is 13 times 1. Both are prime numbers. How about 5 and 10? What common factor can we divide evenly to 5 and 10? Yes, it is. You're right, it is 5. So we divide by 5, we divide by 5. 5 divided by 5, that gives us 1. 10 divided by 5, that will give us 2. Now let's do 23 times 2 gives us 46 over 1 times 13 is 13. Now we need to bring down the last term, which is minus 1/2. Now, if we're going to subtract, what's the one thing that we need to consider? We need to have the same denominator. So let's find the common denominator for 13 and 2. Now, how do we do that? So let's go back to basics. If you skip count, you get 13, then 26. If you skip count 2, you're going to say 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26. Now, 26 is the least common multiple of 13 and 2, so that is your least common denominator. So 26 is your least common denominator. So what did you multiply to 13 to get 26? And we multiply by 2. That means we skip count 13 twice, 13 and 26. So 46 times 2, that would give us 92. Minus, what did you multiply to 2 to get 26? Or how many times did you skip count 2 to get to 26? And that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So times 13 times 13, and that gives you 13. Now we have the same denominator, 92 minus 13. That gives you 79 over 26. Or, how many 26 are there in 79? There's 3, because 3 times 26 gives you what? Now, if you use your math skills, I have no more space. So 26 times 3, that gives you, this is going to be 18, 6, 78, right? So 3 times 26 gives you 78. How many more do you need to get to 79? And that is 1 more. So we got 33 and 1 over 26. That would be for number 5. Now, number 6, the last one. I'm almost into 15 minutes. So, again, look at this. It's 2/5 plus 1 over 5 divided by 2/3. We're not going to add first. We're going to divide first. Order of operations. Okay? So let's do this. The two things. Let's do this division problem. So times and plus. Change to an improper fraction. 5 times 1 is 5. Plus 1 is 6 over 5. We divide by 2/3. Keep 2/5 over there. Just keep it there. Now we do keep change opposite. We got 6 over 5 times 3 over 2. Now, let's do our cross canceling. Make it easier and faster. What number can we divide evenly to 6 and 2? And we know it is 2. We can divide this by 2. 6 divided by 2 is 3. 2 divided by 2 is 1. So 3 times 3 is 9. 5 times 1 is 5. Then bring down bring this down. 2/5 plus 9 over 5. Now they have the same denominator, so we don't need to change anything. So it's going to be 2 plus 9 is 11 over 5. We keep the same denominator. Now, how many 5s are there in 11? There's 2 5s in 11. So 5 times 2 is 10. We need one more to get to 11, so it's 2 and 1/5. It would be the same. Hopefully that works. Please review the video if you need more help.